My name is John Sullivan. In 1964, I was drafted into the Army. While stationed in Fort Hood, Texas in 1965, the Army asked for volunteers for Vietnam. I volunteered and was served there from 1965 to 1966. My parents weren't surprised when I was drafted, as I had 4 other brothers who were also drafted. And in 1970, my brother James was killed in Vietnam. I was transferred to Vietnam by ship from San Francisco along with approximately 2,000 other soldiers. It took us 30 days to get to Saigon. After arriving in Vietnam, we stayed 2 days on the ship. We were then transferred by small ship to Bien Hoa, which was about 15 miles up the coast. After landing on the beach, we were then transferred to a place called Tan Hip, which was about 15 miles west. We were dropped off in the middle of the night in a forest field. We were dropped off in a place not quite as dense as a jungle. We were then told to set up our pup tents, which are one-man tents. It was a very rainy night, and the thing I really remember is the rats floating by us. There were about 200 guys in my group. On the next day, we started to set up bigger tents for our barracks and showers and everything essential to our needs. I remember the first night after we built that, we received gunfire, which was really a shock to all of us. We were hauled to hit the deck, and every night after that was an occurrence like that. I finally realized and said to myself, what did I get into? There were shots being fired over my head, and all I thought about was staying alive and seeing my family again, and waiting for the day I could go home. Our job in Vietnam was mostly building hospitals and supplying food and fuel to other troops. While over there, many soldiers were killed, and one of our duties was to collect and prepare the bodies to be taken home to their families. A little about the living conditions there. The weather was either very hot, muggy, or it was raining. We had water that was mostly shipped in from our country or other countries. We could not drink their water, as if you did, you would get very sick, which happened to me. The country was very unsanitary. The people would, the bathrooms were right next to their drinking water. Our food consisted mostly of sea rations, which was canned food, and soda, a lot of soda and a lot of beer. While in Vietnam, we were fighting alongside the Vietnamese army. And sorry to say, but we didn't have too much trust in them. We didn't know if they were fighting for the North or fighting for the South. We were part of the South. What I remember mostly about Vietnam was the amount of carnage and how quickly it became friendly with other soldiers. We actually relied on each one another to stay alive. So when you hear someone say a band of brothers, that's what it means. I don't have regrets about volunteering for Vietnam, because I luckily made it home. But there was 54,000 soldiers who didn't, and hundreds of thousands who were wounded. So I feel pretty lucky.